All right. So a little bit of backstory about this, I suppose, is I don't know what the original beef between PSI and Ben Steger is, but I believe this goes back a long ways when they were both banned by USPSA for doing various things. PSI's never really liked Ben, from what I can tell. But he's been going after him for a lot of different things. And yeah, I don't know. This is the clip that's going viral that people are talking about, the people are upset about, coming to conclusions about. And I do want to exercise a little bit of caution here, being that we've seen this sort of thing before play out in the public eye with things like, what's the biggest case? Probably Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard, where very selective pieces of information come out and paint a very specific picture. When this is, keep in mind, this is a wacky clip. This is wacky. And we're going to talk about generalities here that, of course, you should not be doing these things, okay? Of course, right? Everybody knows that, well, what's going to happen in this clip you should not do. But there's the possibility of additional information, okay? Like, if you haven't seen this before, just get ready. Just get ready. All right.
So before you go, can I get some background? Is PSI like an entity that's been around for a while? Because this is the first time that I've heard of them. I assumed it was like a brand new channel or, account that was created specifically for this, dirt.
No,
this digging up dirt event.
Well, so PSI is a man who you could probably guess the name if you read some of the super chats. I would never dox him, but you can figure out who he is. He was banned by USPSA 5 or 6 years ago for trying to take them down, essentially. He's been around for a long time. He's been accused of many things. You can check his followers and realize that 95.5% of his 50,000 Instagram followers are inactive, meaning that they are all almost certainly bought and paid for. For instance, an account with 50,000 followers gets a quarter of the likes that my page with 7,000 does, right? So either everybody that ever followed him just no longer interacts with his post, or the vast majority of his followers are bought and paid for. Now, he's come out with some good information in the past. He's one of the gentlemen who did a lot of the work with some of the SIG documents with the FOIA requests and stuff like that from different police departments. And so he is a real person. He has been around for a while. But it seems like Ben, so he tried to go after this channel because he's logging our Discord as we speak right now, coping and seething, and then he blocked me and everybody who followed me, apparently. But yeah, so he's a person. He's a little bit sensitive. He doesn't like getting called out for the things that he's done, but he will call out other people. And my stance is very simple, right? You can call out anyone for any reason at any time, just don't be sensitive about it, okay? It's like I totally expect to be criticized in the way that I criticize other people, right? I have to do that. Playing fair. So video of, now this is also where things get a little dangerous, is I have 20 plus screenshots from his story that I had to go and screenshot from another service because, again, I am banned or blocked by him, so I have to log into like a stealth service to actually go and see all this stuff. So when he says like video of abuse by Ben Steger, like that's a pretty specific claim, and we're getting like close to liable, close to defamation if some of this stuff is untrue or knowingly untrue, right? So just caution.
You know it. Once you admit it, you have it too. Admit it, and you have it.
Admit what?
That I invented logic. You will never win. Never. Stop. I invented it.
You invented
You can't win. Ever. Nope, I did it.
You invented
God damn it, you're stubborn. Just do it. Fuck you, do it. Do it! Do it! Do it now! I will not stop screaming until you admit I invented logic!
Stop.
I won't!
Stop.
No, you can't fuck with me.
Stop.
You can't fuck me around at all. I know you're not sad. Stop fucking
Why
with
are
me.
you yelling at me?
Because you knew you loved me at first sight too, so stop fucking with me. You love me at first sight, just say it.
I don't know what
Once you say it, you have it. Just say it, you have it. Say it.
I have no idea.
Say it and you have it. Say it. Say it.
Okay, so
It's not
again,
funny. I'm sorry. I was laughing at something else I thought about earlier.
listen, okay, generically, right? Listen, okay, don't yell at women. Generically, right?
Yeah, it doesn't help.
It's just it's if you're yelling at your significant other, like it happens, right? People get upset, people get passionate, and they do yell sometimes. No, I'm gonna be clear. I've never yelled at my wife that way, but I've been frustrated. We've gotten into arguments before. We've been married for 5 years. Of course, that sort of things happen. Never to this extent. Which is why I would say it's very unwise to get into a yelling altercation like this with your significant other. However, that is a 30-second clip where there's something after that and something before, and that's it. Now, I would say that, at least from there, again, don't do this. It's bad. Don't generically yell at your significant other. Don't do that. I just want to be cautious that perhaps there's something before and after there that might be explanatory. Keep in mind that this also happened, I believe, 5 years ago. Is the time frame of this event?
Well, surely by now his patent on the concept of logic has come through, so he can actually prove it. At the time, perhaps it was pending, and he was sort of like trying to convince her, like, no, I did invent logic. We just got to wait for the patent office to sign off on it. But now, surely, he can back that up.
Oh, also, to be clear, don't do drugs, kids. That's another thing that I forgot to mention, but don't do drugs, kids.
You could do a little drugs.
Good cop, bad cop. Hope you can do a little drugs. Just a little drug. You can have a little drugs as a treat. But yeah, the about the logic thing on its own with no context might be the wackiest sentence of all time. Like, it sounds like something you would hear a homeless person arguing outside of 7-Eleven in downtown Portland, right? With like passerbys, like yelling in the street while he's like throwing a piss bottle at him. That's what it sounds like. However,
it sounds like something I would say.
So I'm sitting here like, oh yeah, dude, these are fire lines. Let me write that down real fast. I got to use this one.
I am going to use this one the next time I get heated.
Yeah,
I didn't realize you could just make claims like this.
Well, I actually have already used this line, ironically, on my wife.
As a logic enjoyer, I mean, come on.
A smidge of drugs. You can have a smidge of drugs.
I would hope that this is like the fight that ended a relationship and that they're not together anymore. Because
they're not together
energy,
anymore.
Yeah, surely. The energy that I get from this is that they have been arguing for a while, and at some point, it's from the way that Ben is talking, it kind of sounds like he's just realized that this is a lost cause, and so he's just given up on trying to actually mollify his interlocutor. He's just like, oh, okay, fuck it. This conversation is essentially over, and you're going to be yelling at me. Then I'm gonna,
Yeah, he's like, I'm
just going to say whatever comes into my brain. So that's the impression that I get.
I do find it funny too that Ben's calling her stubborn, because I'm pretty sure he's one of the most stubborn individuals on the planet. So probably a little bit of the kettle calling the pot black, or however that saying goes.
But yeah, I mean, you get that impression that he maybe tried for 20 minutes to use proper formal logic. The three tenets, the ethos, logos, pathos. And he tried and tried and tried, and it wasn't working. So eventually he's just like, you just aren't equipped to have this conversation with me. And
okay, actually, no, you're right. I take it back. Ben did nothing wrong. Women and logic do not go hand in hand. And yes, I'm going to use a major generalization there. So yeah, no, you're right. He tried to use logic for probably 30 to 40 minutes. She wasn't getting it, and then resorted to violence. Violence of words.
Most people are not, I guess you have to, I think, not necessarily be educated in logic. It's possible to have sort of like an implicit understanding of it, but like, it does help if you're going to have a productive conversation and you're going to use the tenets of formal logic. The person you're talking to has to also have those. Otherwise, it doesn't work, because you could use all of the appropriate methods of argumentation. And if your debate opponent doesn't know them, then you have to resort to pounding on the table and raising your voice a little bit.
Yeah, we've all been there.
We've all been there. People. Some of us have been there.
Well, I don't do it to my significant other, my wife, but I do it all the time to people on the internet, but to much less avail. Listen, online commenters are far worse in arguments than women in general. Because listen, let's be real here. There are no women in this chat right now. Zero.
There are no women on the internet.
The only, I guess, main issue that I have with PSI about all this stuff is that PSI wants to like completely cancel all of Ben's classes and personal and professional relationships and all that other sort of stuff. And, he kind of went after me as well. So I feel a little bit need to point out some of his doings or whatnot. So let's see, what's the one I'm looking at? Okay, so rather than condemning the Stoeger and his conduct, so listen, if you want me to, actually, damn it, Boondock is here. Gosh, dang it, unbelievable. Rather than condemning Stoeger and his conduct, Tanfo Timmy has decided to block me, which again, PSI blocks everybody, so I don't really think you can complain about that. Apparently it is bad when Jake Martins abuses a woman, but totally fine for Stoeger. And again, I don't think that in any way equates to abuse. Like, again, I agree, we should not, in general, yell at our significant other, right? I think that's an easy normie take. Like, in general, we shouldn't yell at our significant other. But if you do, and then you break up because you have an argument and you can't get past it. Like, is that abusive? You could say maybe it was a toxic relationship. But again, saying that Ben Stoeger is a abuser, which comes with all sorts of other connotations publicly, I feel like that unless there's more evidence out there of him doing abusive things, that one video clip, while funny, isn't much more than that.
It's already pretty difficult to argue that like a conversation rises to the level of abuse, right? The idea of like gaslighting or emotional abuse and emotional manipulation is already hard to justify because it's like, just fucking leave, right? If he's being mean to you, just walk away. That's not really necessarily abuse yet. Of course, I'm sure that there are ways that it could become that, but like, as far as we know, he didn't just like beat the shit out of her or something. So abuse is a strong word to apply based on a 40-second clip of an argument.
Yeah, probably
Stoeger sounds
longer.
Bemused more than angry, I would say.
Well, and to be fair, like I've gotten in heated arguments with my friends, and I don't consider that abusive. Although I do gaslight them to keep them around, of course. All the manipulation tactics are out, but I don't consider that abusive.
And I mean, I just put on extra foundation so people can't tell that you've been hitting me.
Listen, okay, if I could reach you with my fist, it would be more likely that people would believe you, huh?
Hop,
Sitting there, I have to bring out the stool to have a fisticuffs with Hop.
He uses his dwarf physique to rip a phone book in half and then beat me on the torso with both halves at the same time. It's awful.
He's dual wielding the yellow pages.
He goes yellow pages akimbo, dude. It's not cool. I would tell PSI about it, but unfortunately, I've been blocked.
Well, yeah, there's another element that people don't want to discuss, but women do it a lot in the reverse. And I know a lot of people who stuck around with women that were taking advantage of them and doing terrible things to them for way too long. And usually they kind of get a pass to it because it's like, well, you're a big guy. You wouldn't be taken advantage of by a 5'1" Latina or, other ethnicities I'm sure do it as well, but there seems to be a pattern with some of them.
Flip-flop is a deadly weapon.
If you're one of Stoeger's cowardly friends that blocks me after I've called you out, then you use a second account to look at my stories, that's pretty much confirms you're a coward. Which is funny because I have to use a like stealth Instagram app to actually view your stories because you've blocked me. It's the other way around. Respond to my message. This is just that website that I have to use. Let me see. So here's the go. Okay, if your range, department, or agency is having a Stoeger class soon, you should show them this video. And again, it's just weird to me because at some point you have to say, well, people are allowed to function in society even if they have a verbal altercation with somebody, right? Even if they go like one step too far and you're like, hey man, that was like mean of you. It doesn't change their ability to teach or to communicate or to do like, their 9-to-5 job or whatever it is,
It's one of those things where I think you set yourself up for failure when you put somebody on a pedestal where, if you really wanted Ben Stoeger to not just be like a shooting coach, but also some sort of paragon of morality, and then he does something that seems mean to you, then you're devastated. You're like, oh my God, I didn't know he was mean. It's like, sure, he's mean. You watch his videos, he's mean to everybody. And that's one of the reasons he's popular and people like him, but you really didn't want him to be. So when something like this drops, you have two choices. One is to immediately drop him completely because you can't handle it. The other one is to dig your heels in and be like, no, actually, he was justified. Whereas the normal person is like, oh, okay, so he got into a fight one time. Who hasn't? I never followed him for his relationship advice because he never gives any. So why do I care if his relationships are good or bad? It's not important.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like he has a tattoo of the Theotokos on his arm or gives dad advice in every video. That would be a little bit more hypocritical. But
yeah, you're not paying him to come over and have Sunday dinner with your grandma. You're paying him to teach you how to shoot better.
My grandma would love Ben.
Mine would too.
I'm pretty sure Ben would love your grandma. Maybe in a way that you would find inappropriate.
Yeah, I mean,
Maybe I wouldn't do that actually, now that you mention it.
The belt stays on, even with grain.
Just like,
oh, no,
I'm not going to the bathroom and leaving them in the living room together, is all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Be pulling out the butterscotch candy.
So this is really odd too, because then PSI goes on to brag about how the Stoeger abuse video, and again, he's using the word abuse, him, not me, is on track to top the Vogel post in terms of views. So he's bragging about how many views it gets. Which seems like if I think he's taking like the altruistic, I am doing this to protect the heckin' women from abuse online, and Ben Stoeger is a heckin' abuser, in his words. But look how many likes my story got, guys. Look how many shares I've gotten, guys. As I bought 40,000 fake followers.
Yeah,
Look at it, guys.
That's gotta help. I think it's more a function of like when the Vogel stuff dropped. My reaction was who? When the Stoeger stuff dropped, I was like, no, not my life coach Ben Stoeger, not him. Anybody but him. I don't know who.
Yeah, there's only about 20 years separating you two. It's gonna happen.
There's no way he's that old.
He's like mid-40s, I think.
So,
oh, that's right. You're an old man. I forgot.
Yeah.
I'm turning 30 this year, so I think I'm just going to do a live stream and then end it on the 25th of this month.
I mean, well, when you turn 30, you're gay dead, and obviously that would be a real blow to you. So I'd suggest getting it over.
He keeps going after everybody. No responses so far from Lucas Botkin, Joel Park, David Wampler, or Stoeger's publisher on his conduct. Again, listen, man, like generically, don't yell at your significant other. It's a bad thing. Don't do it. Also, it was 5 years ago, and I'm also not sure what it has to do with his shooting manuals for helping with shooting. Anyways, Lucas Botkin is particularly ironic since he allegedly left T-Rex over a sexual harassment of his wife matter, but uses Stoeger as a mouthpiece. I don't know about that. I think Lucas and Ben have a purely professional relationship that has to do with Stoeger's shooting performance. I think he's drawn some. He put that up as well, implying that Ben is more dangerous than a bear. Which again, if you're trying to make a defamation case or a libel case or something like this, useful to have. He keeps posting other stuff to his story. As predicted, he won't address the video except getting his minions to intimidate the victims. Now that's another allegation right there, because he's saying that, you know, I'm sure Ben's followers, who are already like my followers, who are a little bit more aggressive than the average folk, right? They do go after people, you know, for sure. I don't ever tell them to do that, to be clear to YouTube TOS. I would never do that. But going after people like Ben is going to get you a lot of hate. But I wouldn't go so far as to say that he's getting his minions to intimidate the victims. That's a leap too far for me.
The victims plural, the nameless victim singular, that we don't know who they are or where they are.
We will get into it. There's more women speak coming up. Do not worry.
Oh,
do not worry.
Think he's also claiming that he is a victim as well.
That's
all
right.
Very possible.
Now,
okay, here we go. So yeah, he continues to go after Skyhorse Publishing, Tony Lyon, Uncertain, Lucas Bach, and Joel Park, all the guys. All right. Now this is just, he keeps reposting this stuff, which is like, all right, like, you know, if true, there might be something here, right? So Faith, Hope, and Emily says he is a very dangerous person. I was with him for 1.5 years. We lived together. I had never been more scared or abused in my life. Why were you living with him as an adult woman? My daughter is still in therapy after him. Please take this seriously. It is not to be joked about. You know, if true, if something bad, really bad did happen here, then yeah, of course, you know, go after people who abuse women and children, right? I think that's a very normal take. But just posting this sort of thing, like without any backing or evidence, because not to be mean, but I'm not a believe all women type of guy. I think that sort of mentality gets abused really quickly.
I'll say, like, you know who needs to hear about this? It's not
the police.
Instagram. It is the cops. Yeah. So it is, you know, like, I appreciate you sharing your story on Instagram, but did you share your story with the police, with law enforcement? I feel like they're probably the ones you should.
Yeah.
Well, they don't get the views though.
That is true. You
look
don't
at the views. Look at the views.
Get a heart or reshare from law enforcement. Oftentimes you get very little. Maybe you get a cup of water while you sit in the room waiting for them to show up.
Now, Practical Shooting Insight says, posting this to add context to the Stoeger abuse video. Again, he keeps saying that word. The victim, Crystal Dunn, wanted it released after it was provided to me by another party to encourage other women to step forward and share their stories about Stoeger out of fear that he will continue to abuse women physically and psychologically. Please be supportive of her and the other women involved. And then we have this longer statement. Enough, dude. I preferred to stay silent, let the past be the past for a long time. I tried to warn a few people long ago. Others saw this video at the time. People either didn't believe me or didn't care. But recently, women came to me and I found out things you don't see here that happened to me. He went on to do them and sometimes even worse. So the time to be silent is no longer. We had arguments at times, to be sure, which, like, all right, if you're both yelling at each other, well, now I can't be upset that you were yelling at Ben and Ben was yelling at you. Like, okay. At times, for sure, I could get emotional or say mean things at times, like any person. So I can understand your point, but that was not the case here. So I mean, but she's already admitting to getting into arguments and saying mean things to rile up Ben, and then Ben gets riled up. Like, don't be with crazy women, okay? Just don't do it. As a rule of thumb, obviously, like, you know, some people like the crazy, they like the wild stuff, and they're not like into the whole, you know, Christian paradigm of one man, one woman type of thing. So, you know, if you go down that path, though, it leads you to crazy women and crazy places like this. So just don't do it.
The tendency, the last one, as well as this one, to lump physical and psychological abuse into the same category. Where it's like, I mean, if you are a functioning adult, psychological abuse just be your sign to leave. Physical abuse is your sign to call the cops. Don't put them together in the same category and post them on Instagram.
Well, and I also, it's hard for me to believe too sometimes. It's like, I was an adult woman with a job, and I chose to move in with him and just never left for 5 years. It's like, well, you know, if you were like an actual, like, you know, person with means, you weren't actually trapped there. Like, I totally agree. There are women that get into terrible situations and they feel like they're stuck somewhere. They don't have anyone to turn to, no family. And so they get essentially stuck in a place like this. But if you're like already an adult woman, already have a job, a career, ostensibly, right? And you choose to move in with somebody, as soon as things get bad, you just take you and your daughter out of there. You just leave, right? First sign, you just go. You just get out. Because that's on you to protect your daughter. What led up to that video was hours more of what you see here. So yes, they were having a long argument. No one, including his family, would believe me. No one would help me. The video was taken and sent to them, in which the parents finally came to help. When opposing a big voice that is scary to speak up, he has already had proxies send me messages and videos of myself. That's very disgusting if true. But after the things I learned he did to others, I had to give permission for this to come out. PSI was sent it a while ago and respected my wishes to keep it private after asking me about it. But with this recent information, I have to say something now. I don't blame you for questioning what you see on the internet. We should never welcome false indictments. Well, that's very nice of you to say. But know that there are other women out there with only the confidence for whispers because no one wants to believe them and no one wants to care when people like or stand to gain something from the person in question. My hope is they will see that it is okay to come forward if they are afraid to tell their story at this point. F it, I will be their voice.
Yeah, I still don't understand why they would be scared to tell their story to someone like law enforcement.
Well, I think the problem is that there is not actually any illegal activity. At worst is what we probably, like, that video is probably the worst clip that exists. Like, that's the most damning clip that exists, which is he yelled at me and slammed a table several times.
Yeah, you know, maybe there's some kind of activity that just was not captured on camera, but it does seem like the gist of it is, oh, he's not very nice. But I suspect, you know, I mean, Ben Stoeger got famous at a fairly young age, like on TV. It is strongly possible that he's just like, I don't need to play nice because I know my own value as an influential person. So yeah, maybe he's a jerk, but like, yeah, is it? I don't know. This makes it sound like he's a mafia don. He's like, if you
I will kill you.
If you tell people I'm mean to you, all my family will have you taken out. Like, I don't know.
I can just
also when it says with a family
stroking a cat saying, I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse.
Yeah, the video was sent to them, in which parents finally came to help.
Well, now I can see this
his
because
family would believe me. No one would help me. The video was taken and sent to them, in which parents finally came to help. Her parents, his parents. Sounds like the family.
Well, actually,
his family,
you know, I
was like,
I take back everything that I said about women not having logic. Hot take. Both parties could be shit people. Sometimes people just aren't very nice, you know, and sometimes crazy finds crazy.
Yeah, so say one of the wisest pieces of advice that I always hear from a friend is that water seeks its own level.
Yeah. Yeah, he might be a total asshole. You might be a total asshole, but not illegal.
Thank God I'm not dating him.
Yeah. All right. Well, here we go. So this is the reason why some of these guys are in the thumbnail as well. JJ Rakaza says no man should ever talk to a woman like that. Well, it depends, because if you're egalitarian, well, if I can yell at my buddies, I can yell at a woman, right? If they're ontologically equal. But if you're saying that, like, well, actually, no, you need to be a man, you need to protect women, so you should never hit a woman, you should never talk to a woman like that. Well, then I can agree with it from that perspective, the misogynist perspective. But yeah, I mean, generically, don't ever yell at your significant other. Not a good idea. Never looks good. Doesn't solve problems usually. At least I can't construct a scenario in which it does solve problems. And usually, if you're getting to the point where you are like yelling and verbally abusive to people, like probably as long as you're not married and there's not kids involved, you probably should just get out of there, dog.